Hello and welcome to Screen Source. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Groovy.
Doing okay. You guys ready to talk about some film and television news, reviews, and trailers?
Absolutely.
Yes. Every week we are here. This is episode 46. What does that PowerPoint say?
I thought it was 47.
46.
46. Okay.
Yeah.
4 more until our 50th.
Yeah, 4 more until our 50th, and we just realized we hit our
It's our 1-year anniversary.
1-year anniversary. Yay to us. We did it. Maximum effort. Half the cast has stayed the same.
Yep.
The other half has been
Variable.
new and variable, and
But
we
Stan
love
has
having
been with
Stan
us
here
for
every
3
week
months.
for the last 3 months.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks,
dig it.
Stan.
That's been a ton of fun.
I don't think there's anything I'd rather do than sit around and talk about movies, honestly.
Yeah,
Right?
well then you're at the right place.
Right?
And hopefully you're at the right place too to watch the Land of Steady Habits trailer reaction. But as we said, after that we're going to go into a lot more news and television. Film and television news things that came out this week. Lots to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start that trailer.
Let's do it.
I don't know, Dad. I mean, it looks like a bunch of little kids live here.
Look at it. It's nice. It's festive.
Oh, I love it.
It's like your own sad little Christmas parade.
Oh.
I heard you got out of finance.
It's a system of monstrous greed. And for what? More toys, bigger houses,
So you have some big plans?
charity work that I'm doing.
Oh?
Yeah.
Which one?
Diseases, in the cancer spectrum.
So are you separated? Or?
No, I'm divorced.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I do. Have you even looked for a job yet?
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, I did. Delivering booze.
Do you live here? I didn't think this was your style. I mean, what's your style? Delivering liquor? Looks that way.
He's just kind of angry and rude. A little bit like the guy you see sitting across from you right now.
Oh, lucky me.
What happened to you? Like, quit your fancy job?
Something had to change.
You can't just come in here. You're drunk.
What? I'm just getting some things, man. Everyone needs to relax. They're a weird flavor.
Are you kidding me?
Don't taste like flowers.
What is wrong with you, Anders? You're the one who wanted out, so get out.
You know, when I saw you at the window just now, I thought you were him. I have some questions for you.
Preston did not do anything.
I swear to God, I did not tell anyone.
How could you not call us?
Thought you might like this.
You brought me an erotic, stolen library book?
No?
I'm sorry you have such a disappointing dad.
Okay.
I used to have this vision. My life was like a web. The more webs you could have coming from you, then the more important you were. But if you vanish, then the people that were in your life, they learn to rely on someone else. And then the web just remakes itself and moves on without you.
All right.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems aptly named.
Right
It's based
on.
off of a novel by Ted Thompson.
Oh, that makes sense.
Directed by Nicole. How do you say that, guys? Holofcener? Holofcener? Let's see. What else has she done? Friends with Money, Enough Said. I haven't seen any of these. She was a student of director Martin Scorsese.
Okay. Right on.
Very cool. Very cool.
I think I've seen Friends with Money. I'd have to watch the trailers.
Okay. Okay.
I love Ben Mendelsohn. I think he's a tremendous actor.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, is he Aussie? I think he's
Oh,
Australian.
I didn't know he was. Well, he definitely has like an interesting voice, but I think he might even have a
yeah,
lisp.
Australian actor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a chameleon. He's been in
Star
a
Wars.
bunch of things. Yeah, he's Star
More
Wars.
recently.
And then he did, there was one. He was this real greasy, grimy guy, like street guy.
Oh, he was in Darkest Hour, Ready
Yeah.
Player One.
Yeah, yeah. He's the main. He's the big bad in Ready Player One.
He's going to be the Sheriff Nottingham in the new Robin Hood.
Yeah.
That's like the like badass like Assassin's Creed Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Slow West. He's a
Okay.
bad guy in that, and he's real grimy.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, he's got a huge.
Yeah, no,
list.
he's
God,
been
in
doing it a
everything.
while. Yeah.
Started in 1986. Yeah, this seems interesting.
And Edie Falco's great.
Yeah, she is great.
Eddie Falco.
Edie Falco.
Edie. Oh yes. She is great. The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right. She's the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting topic, right? It's about. I mean, largely it seems like the rift between the father and the son.
Substance abuse.
Substance abuse. Yes.
And also him just being like, I hate my job, and like everything in my life is surrounding this job that I hate, and why would I continue to do that?
Yeah.
If I hate it.
Would it be fair to say that most people land in that camp? Not to diminish that, but
absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I think that's why it's so relatable, because a lot of us end up doing things that for a living that we don't enjoy. And I think I have a really good job. There are days when I love my job, but my job is very, very difficult, and so sometimes it's really hard to go to work because what I do is sad. So it's rewarding, but not everybody feels that way about their job.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Some people are like, "Oh God, I hate my job."
Right.
I just can't even get up out of bed because it's so terrible to go to work. And I think a lot of people feel that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's coming out September 14th on Netflix. So yeah, it makes sense that they released the trailer 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
It's their MO.
It was at a film festival, or no, it will be at Toronto Film Festival September 12th.
Nice.
Is that what we just said for Suspiria also? No. Suspiria's at a different film festival September 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how did you feel?
It looks good.
Yeah.
It's one. It's. I mean, it's pretty. It looks like one of those ones. It's pretty heavy.
Sure.
Pretty heavy-handed. I mean, I think you have to probably know that going into it. But,
yeah.
I like enough. Like I said, I like the actors enough. And it looks pretty heavy. So.
Yeah. It's like a heavy, dramatic indie feel to it clearly though, with
Very
the
much.
music behind it. It actually reminded me a lot of. Is it Dan in Real Life? Is that the movie I'm thinking of? Yeah, with Steve Carell, right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I actually used to watch that one a lot. I don't know why I kept coming back to it.
I remember seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dan in Real Life.
and it had like interesting actors in it too. It had Dane Cook in it.
Dan Cook was in that. Yeah.
Who's that theater actor that you really like?
Yeah, I forget his name, but he I saw him on a Broadway show in New York.
He plays the brother in that, but it
yeah.
just had a similar feel where like he's the outcast of the family, and he's just not entirely sure where he fits in.
Right.
I don't think he had substance abuse, but
no,
he was an odd guy.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, I mean, it's like it's a part of it now. It's part of his journey now, wherever he's going or whatever he's up to.
Sure.
No, I'm into it. I like it.
Cool. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. It's Netflix, so it's easy.
Yeah,
There's
right.
Like no excuse.
Yeah.
I'm more prone to watch it because it's Netflix. Honestly.
Right. Whenever something's Netflix, I'm way more prone to be like, "Yep, I'm gonna watch it."
Yeah, it'll sit there on your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then.
And I like shows like this. I like heavy shows where like.
It's a movie.
Or movies. Yeah. Where I can like cry, have a good cry, like purposely, intentionally. I love having a good cry.
Yeah, what Jessica's thinking of is Parenthood and This Is Us. I do too. Those shows are fantastic.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
It couldn't be better written.
There are times when I'm like,
oh, and they have a movie
cry.
coming out too. The same writers.
I forget what it's called, but it looked really good.
It has Olivia Wilde in it.
Yeah,
we watched the trailer for it.
Yeah. It
oh, right.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
What were you gonna say?
Yep.
Oh, and it has Poe Dameron in it too.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just saying that. This definitely like the heavy subject matter. It's kind of a draw for these kind of movies.
Sure. Yeah. It makes me think. Is this a movie for dads? Is this Is this a movie for the middle-aged?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe. We'll
see. Cool. What else are we going to talk today? Let's go a quick overview before we move straight into our news.
I'm talking about Hey Arnold and reboot of Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
90s Nick shows coming back.
Nice.
More Netflix talk. You have a Netflix topic.
I have a big Netflix topic.
Yeah,
about
Netflix
movies.
Release.
Yeah,
new
Netflix
movie.
release,
My Netflix topics. What am I talking about today? Oh, they've been pissing off the internet recently, and so we're going to talk about how they're pissing off the internet. New film and television releases that are coming out. We'll talk about those. We'll get into. We got a little game that we play here. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
am I going to be mad at you?
Maybe.
I feel like those games always make me mad at you.
We'll see this week. We might end up on the same place.
You make me choose between things that are impossible to choose.
Because it's hard.
And I'm like,
that's the hard choice.
is this fucking Sophie's Choice right now? I'm really mad.
Sophie's Choice.
That's the fun of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
And lastly, we're going to do an old school review for Donnie Darko.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Let's move into our first news topic. Jessica, that's you.
Bam.
Okay, cool. So, spoiler alert. I'm looking at my phone. Don't get upset at me for looking at my phone, because I need it to know about Hey Arnold. So, there is news that there's a possible 6th season of Hey Arnold coming back. Yes! You guys don't understand how much I love Hey Arnold. And also, Keenan and Kel, The Mighty Ducks, Looney Tunes, and Alf are all set to return.
Yeah.
It's this article is really well written because it's just really fun. It says, "Get the Sunny D, Tamagotchis, and Pogs ready, because Hey Arnold might be the next show to get a reboot."
Sunny D.
Yeah. So, and guys, I did have both Pogs and Tamagotchis.
I'm sure you drank a
and
Sunny
I
D or
drank
two.
some Sunny D.
Right, yeah.
Back in my day.
I'll still drink some Sunny D right now.
So anyway, and I recorded this just for this segment.
They may not have been able to hear that.
Watch it, football head.
Yeah.
Yep. So, there's not a whole lot about when it's coming out or anything.
Are
It
they
just says
is it
that-
is it a done deal though? Is it?
No. So as far as I
No.
understand, it was I think it was on Reddit or like an Upworthy or not Upworthy. And a lot of people like signed this thing that said like we want this show to come back.
Okay.
Netflix,
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon, and Apple have expressed interest in reviving the show.
Yeah.
nice.
So the guy that brought
Yeah.
that back up, brought it up, or the guy that wants to get it done, I think it's the original people for the 6th season.
Nice.
They are. They've already tried to pitch it to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon said, "Sorry, it's out of our demographic now."
No.
In other words, this is too old. Our viewers for that would be too old. They're not into it. That's as far as I understand. And what
That's bullshit.
Well, like
You need to bring all those shows back.
So
now
young
they
kids can enjoy Hey Arnold.
Right?
They're
Yeah.
bringing Daria back. They got to bring like Rocco's Modern Life back and like all that.
All that 90s nostalgia.
Hell yeah, Doug.
And so the show got pitched to Netflix and Amazon, a couple other, and Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on.
And then Veronica Mars is making a comeback. Do you guys know anything about Veronica Mars?
Didn't-
Are you
I've never seen
fans
it.
Of, fans of it?
I actually just read an article. I watched a few. I like Kristen Bell, so I watched a few of those. That's funny. I read this story about how Veronica Mars ended and how they wanted it to end. So this is kind of interesting
To see how it comes.
Yeah.
Well,
To see
and then
if
they
it
had a
made
movie,
it.
right?
And then the movie, yeah. Then
It was
they had a movie
kickstarted,
came
I
out-
think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out not too long after.
Yeah.
But they were talking about that, and they were talking about how what they would have done different if they'd have kept going.
Sure.
They were-
Right.
yeah. So it's interesting to hear that they're trying to bring it
Yeah,
back.
I liked the movie.
What's it? Do we know where Veronica Mars is coming back to?
It's coming back on Hulu.
Hulu. Okay.
Oh, right on.
And it's this article that I got says that Hulu is to reboot Veronica Mars. The cult feminist drama would pair nicely with Handmaid's Tale, which I thought was kind of fun.
No, that's nice. Yeah.
But it is like one of those like really empowering kind of female.
Sure.
She's like a detective essentially.
She's a yeah, and it's an urban. Oh, well, she's in college, right? Is she-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now she's probably.
Well, I mean, when
an
in the original
adult.
Veronica Mars, so she was like a college student.
She was a high
slash
school
detective
student
or high school,
originally.
right?
I hope
yeah.
she ends up.
Yeah.
I hope it's Kristen Bell playing a high school student still.
They always do that. you know?
Right,
They're always like, oh yeah, you're supposed to believe that these 30-year-old people are in high school.
Yeah, we were
Like,
watching
really?
Pretty in Pink last night, and oh my gosh, we're supposed to believe all these people are in high school. Is it Christian Slater? Is that his name?
Was it,
No.
no, McCarthy, isn't it? Isn't he?
No,
in that
not
one?
Christian Slater. The other, gosh, what's it? He was in The Office as the boss for the later season.
Spader?
Spader,
James
Jason
Spader.
Spader. Yeah, Jason.
James.
God damn it, I'm sorry.
This is why.
Anyways,
you
it looked
don't
like a
do
bunch of like
names.
30-year-old people in
Yeah.
high school. I don't know. They're very bad at doing
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
The
Right.
casting for that.
Meh, oh well.
So
yeah.
okay, is it a reboot or is it Veronica? Are they bringing
It's
back?
a reboot.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
And it says that this is the 8th. Hulu has stepped in, is working towards producing a reported 8th 8-episode revival of the cult hit. And then, of course, Kristen Bell's coming back. Series creator Rob Thomas is penning the scripts. If the series does indeed get a second life on the streaming service, it will likely become Hulu's second must-watch series in its portfolio.
Interesting.
So are they? I mean, like, I guess are they recasting for everybody and starting from the beginning, or is it like picking up? Is that?
It doesn't really say.
That's interesting.
I bet it's the same cast.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
Bring
I
everybody
do think
back.
so. Yeah, because they said Kristen
Bell.
Bell,
Right,
and
right.
so my guess is it would be the
Yeah.
same cast. And they'd
Sure.
be stoked to come back and work with.
Oh yeah.
With this person who's now huge. I don't know that the rest of them made it big.
Yeah.
I don't recognize any of those
And
faces.
the movie is kind of old, actually, now. It's
Yeah,
from
yeah. the movie
2014.
came out a couple years ago.
You know, and apparently it's going to make a potentially good jumping off point for the reboot. It ended with Mars taking over her father's detective business in her hometown. And Kristen Bell has been apparently pushing for this miniseries since the end of 2017.
Nice.
And let's see what else.
Yeah, she's got to work around her The Good Place schedule now.
Oh.
Which is a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be pretty good. I'm excited. I like Veronica Mars. I like the show. I
Yeah.
like the movie.
That'd be interesting to just kind of see what they do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they have a wealth of like places they could go.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They have the lore established. And
Yeah, definitely.
I imagine it won't be a problem. What else we got in the news?
We got some Netflix news.
Mhm.
So, Netflix is up in the ante on their original productions, and it's been going. They've been kind of doing it, you know, kind of more and more lately. But it's mostly been maybe lower to mid-range projects, and to date, the biggest project they have was Bright. It was directed by David Ayer, starring Will Smith. It was a cop, sort of a cop drama,
Fantasy.
Mixed in with fantasy, like Lord of the Rings fantasy elements.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and in the modern times, and it was. Oh yeah, okay. So it says despite negative reviews, they clocked about 1 million people in 3 days.
Wow.
Or 11 million people in 3 days.
Wow.
watched
That's
it.
great. That's great.
And then, so yeah, I mean, so like, despite the reviews, actually was a pretty good success. So they're gonna, so Bright was reportedly a budget of $90 million.
Wow.
Okay.
To put that together. So like I said, they're up in the ante now. They're gonna try to up it to 150 million, and their project is called Six Underground, directed by Michael Bay.
Okay. Sounds about right.
Right, yeah. Starring Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
Maximum effort.
Yeah, so they're putting something together. It's actually written by the Deadpool scribes, Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese.
Okay.
So double.
Maximum effort.
Double maximum. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the story itself revolves around 6 billionaires who fake their own deaths and form an elite team to take down bad guys.
Okay.
Sounds very Michael Bay-ish.
Yeah. No kidding.
I can totally see Ryan Reynolds being a part of that. Who knows?
Sounds like
Depends
a.
on who they get as the other 5 actors.
True. Very
You know?
true. Very true.
I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds. I think he's great. But
Yeah.
you got to get some other good people, too.
Yeah, so that's their big. That's going to be Netflix's big push. Like I said, Bright was 90 million, but that's not including marketing costs.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was just actual production. So, like I said, and I mean,
So this will push 200 million with marketing.
Oh, definitely,
probably,
definitely. And I
yeah.
mean, you know, I don't think Michael Bay can make a movie under 100 million.
Yeah,
150
he doesn't
million
know how to
anyway,
anymore.
So it
It's
kind of
just
makes
impossible
sense.
to me, though, like, how bad his movies have been for a long time, and then, like, how much money he spends on them, and they're still bad.
And
Like-
Sure,
but
yeah.
they still make a shitload of money.
know.
I'm an
I
early
know.
apologist of him, though. I mean,
Sure.
I really like
sure.
Bad Boys and The Island.
Yeah.
He's
Those
like
are
I said,
great.
I have a handful of Michael Bay movies that I really do like, and I don't give him, you know, I don't give him as much shit as I used to.
Sure.
But I mean, yeah, you know, it's just, you know, that's his thing. That's
Yeah.
how he does it.
Yeah,
good
big,
for him.
huge
Yeah.
spectacle.
He's still
stuff.
making, you know, he's still making movies. So
But
good for
Michael
him.
Bay, no more Transformers.
Please.
Like, we're done. Like,
I
no-
actually wonder if they
no
are
more.
done. Because I know
Well,
they're releasing that Bumblebee film.
they're never going to be done.
Which
it's
isn't
going to be like
his-
Transformers 362, and
I think
it's just
I thought they announced.
I think maybe Michael Bay's Transformers are done. I think they'll probably keep. They'll probably try to keep
the story of
Bumblebees
Transformers is cool enough that they could keep it going. But like Michael Bay, you need to stop doing those movies because like there was
he is making his studios so much money. They do not.
The last one, what are you doing,
they don't
man?
care.
I mean, that's why Netflix is pouring so much money into him. They know
definitely.
how much attention this is going to draw.
And like I said, and even if it comes under negative reviews, it still potentially could,
it's gonna make money.
This is a big deal. This is like one of the biggest powerhouse directors we have right now.
Yeah.
Plus the biggest powerhouse writers. I mean, these guys made the highest grossing R-rated film.
Yeah.
I think it still is. I'm not. Did Logan beat it out? I can't remember.
Maybe.
The original, maybe the original.
Okay. Yeah, the original.
Barely.
Yeah. And then Ryan Reynolds, who was starring in that film.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, they're yes.
Well, no, they got a high power director, they got star power, they got So I mean, that might as well be a big budget Hollywood.
It has potential.
Movie.
It has potential. I mean, we know Michael Bay can make a good movie. He just hasn't done it in a long time.
You know what though? Those writers could salvage this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's probably
those writers are great.
Yeah.
They're super.
Yeah.
I don't think they did the second one. What's the word I'm looking for?
Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool. I don't think they did the second Deadpool, right? Because then the lead, or was it the director?
No, it was different. No, they did. Yeah, they were. I don't think they were the only scribes though.
Gotcha.
I think there might have been a couple more.
But,
okay, and it was a new director.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, this is really interesting though. $150 million big budget movie, essentially just straight to the small screen.
Almost just the interest that it's piqued in me is like going to make me want. Same thing for like Bright. I think it piqued so many people's interest.
And I think we even talked about was it the Cloverfield?
Yeah,
paradox,
it's such a cool drop.
As much as we didn't like it, we all watched it.
Right.
And that's really what it's all about.
Right away, because I was like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix wants to make. They want to make a film that people want to watch,
yeah.
but maybe even more so, they want to make a. Okay, so what am I trying to say here? They want to make a good movie,
sure.
But I think even more so, they want to make a movie that people will go watch, even if it's not good.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I hope that we get to a point though where we stop just doing this whole quantity over quality thing, because again, we've talked about this so many times on this show. Let's just make good content. It doesn't have to be yes, I know it takes more time and effort, but I just hope that it's not like this crappy Michael Bay movie again.
I don't know. I might be on the other side of the fence for that because they are Netflix. Yeah. Okay. So what we're talking about right now is Netflix's business model, which is quantity.
Yep.
It's not a quality thing necessarily. No. And what they're trying to do is throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Whatever sticks.
Right. And they know that they will get certain demographics in with a certain type of film or television show. And so, for instance, I don't think they were under the impression that Stranger Things was going to be a huge hit.
As huge as it was. Yeah.
And then now it is, maybe their biggest next to Orange is the New Black and a couple other. Yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon right now.
Yeah.
So, if I don't know, we could be missing out on a lot of things if they stop this quantity business model.
Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure, that's fair.
And the other thing too is that they almost have unlimited resources in that they are it's not like it's one person or anything. They have people that are pitching to Netflix, hey, we want this thing, and all they're saying is here's your money, and maybe here's a person that from our side of the fence that can be the middleman, making sure that everything's kosher with what Netflix wants. So I don't feel it's interesting because it's a network, it's a streaming service, but it's also a production company.
Yeah,
it's an interesting business.
Very much indeed, especially since remember when Netflix was just DVDs in the mail.
Yeah, right.
I mean that's
out of somebody's garage.
Yeah, literally.
It's amazing.
I do remember that actually.
Reminds me of a small local business I can think of at the moment. Out of somebody's second bedroom. Please subscribe. Please, we need it.
You guys are going to be saying that one day. I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah, like and subscribe. Anyways, let's move on to my news topic. So this is more Netflix news. So they've been in the news a lot this week.
Yep.
Because of that big old budget film.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
They just at the end of the article, it did mention that Netflix is also looking to finance Bright too.
Oh, Bright too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe this is part of that new turn. You know, maybe because they can't. I'm sure they can't go around just tossing out 150 million. Here's 90 million.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They're pushing the 100 million now
Right.
for things that they know are going to make them
Sure.
money.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I look tired tonight, it's because my allergies are going crazy.
Yeah.
Air quality.
It's been pretty bad
real
out
bad.
here.
I don't know if you guys heard about it, but the
Fires
fires
and-
in California are affecting the entire country. The pollution is
It's
going everywhere.
crazy. It's across states.
It's going all the way to New York.
This just in. Okay, so two more topics for Netflix. Netflix A is testing video promos, and B removed all the reviews off the internet. So let's talk about A first. They released a statement saying, "At Netflix, we conduct hundreds of tests every year so we can better understand what helps members more easily find something great to watch. A couple of years ago, we introduced video previews to the TV experience because we saw that it significantly cut the time members spend browsing and helped them find something they would enjoy watching even faster. Since then, we've been experimenting with even more video-based on personalized recommendations for shows and movies on the service or coming shortly, and continue to learn from our members." So the big deal, or the big story here, was that people were starting to see commercials in the middle of their Netflix experience.
What?
And it wasn't making everybody happy, and it was only to select people. I don't know how they selected them.
Right, yeah.
And they are saying that they are skippable. They're not things that you have to sit through, unlike, you know,
Like
the
Hulu
tiers of Hulu or whatever it might be.
Oh my God, Hulu. Commercials are so...
I know, and they're repetitive, which is the other issue. I mean,
yeah, YouTube's getting a little...
Yeah, getting there too. I mean, what are you going to do? If you pay the most,
This
we'll
is
show your commercial.
unfortunately the way of the future. Like, you're going to have to just pay more if you don't want commercials.
Yeah, and there was a
For
big
everything.
article that I read recently too that was basically saying that Netflix is now modern television.
Yep.
Like,
Sure.
now we have to start thinking this is our base model,
Yep.
and how do we move forward from here now?
Yep. Yeah.
You know, what is that? What does that look like? Is it Twitch? Is it VOD? You know, I don't know.
The whole reason I love Netflix is no commercials, you know.
Yeah, and so as far as I understand, again, it's only affected a select amount of people, and that I don't know that this is going to eventually be all of Netflix.
I'll say to this though, if promos, if they're just promoting their shows, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they start adding the commercials. And
That's true,
selling you
because
stuff.
I mean, us here at Screen Source, we love trailers.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it might not be bad to see like a TV spot or TV
Well,
ad.
I mean, I think that's it's probably a good move on their part, because you know
It's
you
smart.
I mean, how many times do you go and you just based on a little picture frame and a little description?
Sure.
So I mean,
Or
yeah.
imagine the poor bastards out there that haven't seen Glow or Dark, and
Yeah.
they're like, they watch a trailer for I gotta go watch that.
Right.
That Netflix original.
Yep.
Right.
The other piece of news is that Netflix removed all of their reviews online. So, in another statement, nope, I won't say a statement. Instead, I will read a little bit of a digital trends article, which is basically stating that I believe it was a few months ago. Okay, so back in July, Netflix announced that they're going to remove all their customer contributed reviews on TV shows and movies from its website, and they have officially done that within this last week, I believe. And it's saying that they stopped doing. They removed 10 years worth of review data from its servers. The opinions and comments reportedly had no effect on Netflix's algorithms, recommended content to its user. And they, some other people like Variety is pointing out that it could also have something to do with strongly negative reviews, especially of
Right.
Netflix's own original programming, which helped drive down user overall perception of the quality of their service.
Sure.
So there's that, and then Netflix response was that they stopped doing it because there was just nobody was using it anymore.
Yeah,
That makes
that's
sense.
that's
Yeah.
true too. I don't think I've ever reviewed a Netflix show.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, their star system's still there, or their thumb up and thumb down now, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I remember reading those when Netflix like first came out.
I was gonna say, wasn't that sort of a what do you call it? Like a cheap way, you know, to have you know, like instead of like reviewing everything, just have you know, the user reviews and have that, you know.
Gotcha.
It's a quick way to get data.
Just
you know,
basically
on what kind of content people want. But I've never done it. Never even done it.
Yeah, and it was a desktop only experience, and most
Yeah.
people, I guess, what they're saying it's decline of use. Nobody's using it anymore because everybody's watching it off of their smart TVs, right?
You guys still,
The
well, I was gonna
Rokus.
say, do you guys watch movies on your computer?
Yes, and here's why: because I am crazy. I have a computer connected to every monitor in this
Well, there you
household.
go.
Right.
So, and computers are way easier to use.
He actually has a
That's true.
computer connected to our TV.
Yes,
but
in our living room.
But we still don't click on things like that. Like we just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, we never. Yeah, I forget that they were there. I remember when they you could scroll right and see the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Yeah.
remember that? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
in the beginning.
that's essentially what it was.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like in the beginning, it was just more. They were just letting people review it, and that was their
Right.
template. And I think probably first, like, we should probably do our own.
Yeah.
Synapse.
You know what would be the best is if they collaborated with Rotten Tomatoes and you could see a Rotten Tomato score.
What? That'd be bomb.
Wow.
Right?
That
And
would
our
be
critical
everything.
reviews or their critical consensus
That's
or
some synergy, though.
Except Netflix has been getting bad reviews on all their shit.
Oh no, yeah, no. Well, you know, it depends. Like their TV shows, I think are doing really well. I don't know about their films as much.
I don't know. And like I said, I don't think they even really track that.
How-
I think it's more. I think it's more or less. You know, how many views have we gotten? How
Yeah,
many
it's really a
views, you know?
view-based thing, which in some ways also expresses like it's interesting because Netflix, the view count, which is largely what they're looking at,
Yeah.
on top of the other demographic information, is it showing more of like the equivalent of a movie in a box office, or is it showing more of like a critical praise for that thing, depending on higher view count? Which one is it express? Both? For instance, like Michael Bay, his films are huge in the box office,
Right.
but don't get a lot of critical praise, at least not anymore.
Right.
Right. I don't know.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Call
And
us, Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix is
We'll
they're
help you,
changing the
Netflix.
game. I mean,
We'll-
they're almost dictating things now at this point.
They
Like you
really
said,
are.
I mean, really, you know, this is our template now for
Yeah.
Yeah.
movies and stuff.
I mean,
For TV.
they're doing a good job,
Yeah, you're killing it, Netflix. We're not mad.
regardless. Yeah.
I'm not mad about any. Well, I mean, like I said, the commercials. You know,
Yeah,
we'll
that's a
just see how
little
that plays out.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
that. In other words, you don't want it to end up on your TV.
I don't. Well, I don't want to. I don't. You know, like I said, I think that if you know what I'd understood was commercials, but now that I understand it's more video promos, kind of promoting their
Right.
stuff. That makes sense. And if
Yeah.
it's skippable, sure.
You guys
And-
remember when YouTube first got that? Everybody
Yes.
was pissed. I think they're
Yeah.
still pissed. That's why I have YouTube Red. I really should
No,
stop paying for it though.
right.
It's expensive.
Too expensive.
Anyways, let's move on to our next topic, next piece of news. Coming soon now with Post Tomatoes, which always comes before.
Free
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
That's
Sorry, I was
right.
off.
Every single week we look at the newest film and television shows that are coming out, and then we prescribe to them a Rotten Tomato rating, or at least what we think it's going to be. And the following week we take a look at what it actually was. So let's start at the beginning. Mile 22 came out last Thursday. That is the new Mark Wahlberg film. I don't know who directed
Damn.
that one.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to get a 45.
It got a
I
19.
got a 19.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're still
Overall.
aiming too high, guys.
I guess so.
Well, I think I said lower, but then everybody was like, no. I'm like, okay, guys, fine.
Yeah, you would say
Don't
that.
take
now.
my 13.
Yeah, that is not good.
Yeah. You know, I can't. I really couldn't. I couldn't see any like. It didn't look special. It didn't.
It looked like a generic popcorn action film with a
Basically,
middle-aged white man,
yeah.
which is a lot of movies right now.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't.
Thanks, Liam Neeson. Ruined it.
You ruined it.
Ruined it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I ever really planned on watching this. You know,
Yeah.
maybe if it lands on Netflix.
Oof, even
19's
then.
so rough though.
Yeah, I know. I was like, even then, I don't even know if I'd
The
watch
action
it.
better be that good.
Oh my god.
You know.
Yeah.
And it has the guy from The Raid in it. Is
Yeah,
it?
you know, I mean, that's the. I don't know. I don't know if he's actually the bad guy. I kind of
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with
Sure,
that,
but he was in
yeah.
the trailer.
He was in. Yeah, I mean, like that. If there's not like a knockdown, drag out fight with that guy, they've totally wasted him. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, he's an Indonesian spectacle right now.
Yeah.
All right, next is Disenchantment.
Disenchantment.
We
man.
thought was going to get an 85.
Yeah.
Landed at a
Ooh.
61%.
Did
This is
bad.
the new Matt Groening Netflix original based in a fantasy world. So yeah, that's kind of rough.
Well,
That's almost an unwatchable score.
well,
uh,
I will. speaking to that, I will say, like the very first season of The Simpsons, especially now, especially if you go back now and watch them, they're
rough.
you know, it kind of took them a couple of seasons to really get.
I just
hit
remember
their
Bart's
stride.
or somebody's hair being different color.
A little, yeah.
Everybody looked off color.
And they were still, they were still figuring it out. I think so. I mean, I would hope that maybe it does sort of pick up,
Sure.
and I did watch it. And
We're gonna go into a little bit more of a review of it later.
But I mean, like I said,
non-spoiler
I don't know that I would say that this is a done,
sure.
dead, but it is surprising. It
you would have expected to be much better. I have my suspicions about that, which maybe I'll get into a little bit later.
Okay.
But I think what largely, you know what, we'll get into it later.
Okay.
You stay tuned.
Right.
All right, and Crazy Rich Asians, we thought it was going to get an 80%. Ended up at 93.
It's doing very well right now.
That's very good.
Very well.
That's good. I'm
you
not
called
surprised.
it. You knew. You're the one that brought us up in that score.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the book was really popular. I know a lot of people that actually read the book because it's based on a book.
Okay.
And I mean, if they just by the looks of it, it looks like they're sticking to it. So I mean, like it's one of those things. If they nailed the book, the movie's gonna be great.
The lead girl is a rapper.
Oh, I love her.
Oh,
Constance Wu.
She's real good, actually.
She's real good.
Pretty funny.
Is she American? Are these?
No, she's not.
Not American.
I don't,
they're all
wait,
Asians.
maybe she is. I thought you were gonna say, is she like?
What?
Yeah,
what?
she's American, right?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Idea.
Yeah, I don't
Actually,
know.
no,
I mean,
don't know.
they are Asian, but they could be Asian American.
Yeah.
Right.
She may not be, because I feel like she had an accent on the show that I was like listening to.
She's
the
on
radio.
now.
Sure. So there's a possibility that
She may not be.
doesn't.
She's
live
on
here
a
or
Fresh
have
Off the
citizenship.
Boat.
Yeah.
Just the TV show that,
Oh.
I know her from.
Oh, okay.
And I don't. Well, I mean, her character is from Asia, so she has a thick Asian accent, but I don't know that that's.
Gotcha.
So
and the
I don't know.
One of the bigger pieces of news surrounding this too is this is the first full Asian cast either ever or in decades for American cinema.
An American movie.
An American movie. Yes.
Yeah. No. That
Yeah,
was
because
She is
clearly there are
American.
full Asian
Yeah.
casts elsewhere.
Right. Yes.
She is American.
Okay.
She's American. Okay, gotcha. And she's a rapper, huh?
She's a rapper.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, I heard her do some songs on NPR. Actually, she was doing an interview, and it was good.
Yeah.
It sounded good.
Did I do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the movies that came out last week. We weren't spot on. Some weeks were off, some weeks were on.
But we weren't too far. I mean,
Well, I think we hit
in
the
the
general
range.
direction.
we're in the general
Yeah.
direction of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still feel
well,
we're aiming high generally.
Disenchantment was that one was a
That's a
shocker.
surprise.
That
This
was
is
a shocker to us.
disappointment,
That it
you know?
wasn't-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Let's move on to next week's movies. Coming
Yeah.
soon now with Pre-Tomatoes, which always comes after.
Post Tomatoes.
That's right. So next week, what we have is Axel or
nice.
AXL. It's that Dog Robo film.
Right.
That was your first episode, I believe.
think so. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it was.
I don't know. How I feel
We
about
watched
that.
the trailer for that. The Happy Time Murders, which we also watched the trailer
Yeah.
for, which did
That
pretty
looks
good
cool.
here on the channel. The R-rated Henson
Sure.
film. And lastly, After Party, which we also watched the trailer for, the new Netflix original. It is about a kid that's trying to come up in the rap industry, rap game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, we did. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay. I
it
remember
starts
that.
off with him in a bathroom rapping to the agent of a rapper.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we know what each of these look like. They're all films. It looks like a couple of them end up in theater. AXL looks weird. It looks like other films that have come. There have been other films that come out like this.
It looks like a bad Power Rangers
Yeah.
/ Transformers movie. I don't know.
But like
I'm not down.
less of a
30s.
spectacle too. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
30s.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a modern 80s robo film.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But nothing modern about it. Just all, I mean,
Yeah.
well, aside from the CG and whatever.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
I would use
30s.
20s. You know.
Oh, that's what you were
30s.
saying. You were
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
30s.
30s.
20?
It's not gonna do well.
Yeah?
It's just like, meh.
We can just meet right at 30 if you don't mind.
Sure.
Hey,
Okay.
producer, do you mind doing us a favor? Going into the Screen Source chat, our little chat group, and writing these scores down. AXL we'll have at 30%. Did I steal it from you? Is it up here? There you go. Okay, cool. Let's move on to Happy Time Murders. So this is the very crass, very blue puppet film that was dropped on our heads. We had no clue this was coming.
Really funny. I would give this one a higher score.
Melissa McCarthy.
Like a 70.
I want to say 90s.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
because this one has been around a while, or the idea for this has been around a while.
Okay.
It's been like it's Brian. Think Brian Henson. It's his son. It's Jim Henson's son. He's kind of carrying on the
legacy,
the tradition, the legacy. But he's ready to. He's been wanting to kind of
branch
take
out,
it into a different level or a different zone.
Sure,
so I know I know that there's been a lot put into it.
I think Sesame Street. Sorry to cut you off. I think Sesame Street sued them or give them a cease and desist because this poster here says "No Sesame All Street."
Yeah,
and they were livid about it.
Nice.
They said, "Do not use our name in this."
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I think there you go right there. I think that's a good
Yeah, the trailer had a puppet ejaculating for like
oh my god, that
like
was so
30
funny.
full
That was
seconds
so freaking funny.
all over the walls, and it's silly string
yeah.
is the ejaculate.
It's ridiculous.
It's
so good.
it's clearly ridiculous. I was iffy on how I mean, and it's a comedy film first and foremost, right?
75, 80? I'd go 80.
I'm gonna land on the more skeptical side. Yeah, I'm gonna say like 70s.
Okay.
And you're on the 90s.
I'd say 80.
So you guys want to meet in the middle? 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
85 sounds good.
85. That's a B score.
Yeah, definitely.
Bad.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I think it's one of. I think it's just we're in that period where it's like I don't know, but I mean I think it's well I mean like Roger Rabbit, you think about just the kind of what they're going for.
Roger Rabbit changed things.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I mean. I think that's what they're going for with this.
Okay. Yeah, this is Avenue Q on the
on
stage,
like
on film,
on crack.
On crack.
And not I mean and like like the whole raunchy comedies making a comeback now. I mean this is a good time for it. Anyway,
sure.
So.
Okay, cool. So we'll go with 85. I think we said.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. After Party. It's got like every rapper you can think of is actually in the film.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna give this one a lower score.
It even says it featuring Pusha T.
Yeah.
I can't read all
this
these.
One like maybe a
Ski Mask.
65, maybe a 70.
Ski Mask, the Slump God. I was just recommended to start listening to him. French Montana. Jadakiss. I love me some Jadakiss. Designer.
He's coming.
Ooh, Designer. Jada?
Yeah.
Yeah? Ooh, that sounds like fun. I'm sorry, Jess, what were you saying?
I'm going to give it like a 65, 70. I don't know. I don't, even though I have high hopes for it, I just don't know.
Yeah,
how well it's going to do?
The 65, 70, like 70 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's say this is like for millennials, right?
Right.
Young people. They're clearly aiming for the black demographic. I'm wondering what critics are gonna think. It's gonna be based on story, right? How good is this story?
I think it'll actually, especially if it's Netflix, I may end up watching it just because of the who's in it. So it might be one of those things that might not get critical, but it might actually do all right.
Yeah.
So
what did you land on again? I'm sorry.
70.
That's tough. Yeah. I think
70.
Yeah, I think
70.
70, 75.
I've been I've been burned the last 2 weeks.
Sure.
With going high, I'm going 65.
65.
So
okay.
We can just meet in the middle at 70.
68.
Okay.
I don't know. 65 sounds good to me actually.
65. We did it.
Okay, 65. That's fine.
Yeah, cool. After party. Sorry.
Better than that, but
yeah, I really do hope
so.
Realistically, yeah.
I feel for him.
Yeah.
I'm an aspiring rapper myself.
There you go. Part of it too is
I shouldn't laugh because it's true.
It's partially true.
I can't help it.
The only part of me that, and it's real kind of pessimistic, skeptical. I mean, part of it for their advertising, they had to cram every rapper's name.
Yeah,
just to promote it. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a movie about music that isn't widely accepted still.
Sure.
It's accepted by like certain communities. It's accepted by like also certain age groups.
Right.
But I'm going to say most critics are
White people
and older.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
They're
saying?
all like, oh,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
hate that rap music.
Yeah,
It's so loud.
that's
and
going to play into the critical.
vulgar.
I wonder. I
It's
think of Hector
it's
now.
so inappropriate.
I wonder if he's seen it or if he's got.
He was going to come here tonight, actually.
nice,
yeah,
nice.
he got busy, but
Oh, right
yeah,
on.
that's a good question. Yeah,
Because he's actually because I mean because he's younger.
he's
but
younger.
still-
He's a person of
but
color.
he's still, yeah, but he's doing his reviews. So
I love rap.
Yeah,
so.
me
Yeah.
too.
Me
So
too.
let's
I
hope
think
this
all
does
those
good. Let's
Yeah,
hope
me too. Like I
designer
said,
does
I'd
Panda.
like to.
I'm into that. Okay, cool. Let's move on to
Yeah.
reviews. We got a couple things that we need to talk about here.
Cool.
First off, it is what did you watch this week? So, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I watched the movie The Constant Gardener on Netflix, and it has Rachel. I think her
Weisz.
last name's pronounced Weiss.
Yeah.
And then it has, I think his name is pronounced Rafe Fiennes or Ralph Fiennes. He's really a good actor. He's the guy that played Voldemort in all
Oh, the
Harry
next
Potter
one.
movies.
Yeah, the next one.
And it was a really good movie. I would give it like a solid B plus, A minus,
It's
maybe.
beautiful. It's a
When did it
beautiful
come
movie.
out?
Yeah. I do not know that.
I want to say early 2000s.
Yeah, I know Rachel Weisz, I think, won an award for her acting. I just think it's like really good because it's got the elements of kind of like a thriller mystery. It takes place in Africa. And
It has the whole the kind of fractured timeline to it,
Yes.
so that was really big around that time. I guess.
it's very political.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I would recommend it. I liked it a lot. I think the sort of twists and turns are really, really interesting and like keep you wanting to watch. Like you're just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
And
yeah,
and both of the Rachel Weisz and Ray Fiennes are fantastic.
Oh yeah,
in it.
they're both phenomenal actors. Yeah, so
all right, you may have sold me.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth a watch. I would say it's
worth
worth.
it.
That's a movie I would recommend as well.
Okay.
So I think it's really good.
Yeah.
What time period are we talking again?
Modern.
It's modern.
Like I said, it was in the. It was. I think it was the early 2000s, and I think it was supposed to be like current. I don't think it was a period meant to be a period.
Okay.
But it's definitely, I guess, in the sense of like what's happening in the movie. It's has to do with like turmoil,
Big Pharma.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
like
that,
Monsanto type.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of but I mean, when I think about it now, it was kind of before we were really having those conversations.
Right.
Gotcha.
So
Right.
it was a little bit ahead of its time, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to talk about?
You were going to talk about Disenchantment.
Oh, Disenchantment.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Man.
so yeah, let's go. You know what? You go first because then we'll both talk about Disenchantment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna pick because I did go see a movie. I went and saw The Meg.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and you know what?
Again, these are non-spoiler.
No. I really liked it.
You had a good time.
But okay, I went in with the mind frame of I'm going to see a giant shark movie, and I think it's one of those if you're not in that mind frame, probably not. I think that's probably why it kind of got panned a little bit.
Sure.
And it wasn't Jaws, but it wasn't meant to be.
Okay.
Like I picked up on that right away. It's its own movie.
That's good.
And it's very, very, very popcorn. I mean, it was very enjoyable. It was a lot of little laughs.
I read a review that said this is more so a Jason Statham movie, Statham, than it is a shark movie.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you feel that?
Yeah. Well,
he's just kicking the sharks'
lead.
asses, basically.
You know, he's the lead. He's actually got some. He's got some nuances. His character is actually like a person.
Oh, okay.
So it's not. It wasn't just him kicking ass, even though he does kind of kick ass. And a big part of it was too. It's a giant force of nature, so there wasn't too much ass to really kick.
No, you're punching it in the gills.
Yeah. You know,
Like,
I mean, it's a lot. And actually, what I took away was it was more Godzilla, less Jaws.
Ooh,
because
I like
it was
that.
more of a disaster. Because I mean, and like I said, when the comparisons to Jaws aren't fair, really, because I mean, really, Jaws is very much a horror movie.
Okay.
In the sense that I mean, the way it approaches everything. And slight spoiler: some people get eaten by a giant shark because of a giant shark. So some people get eaten.
Yeah, how could
But
that not happen?
It isn't. It definitely isn't as traumatic as Jaws.
Well,
That's
his
why-
mouth is so big.
Yeah.
He's just swallowing these
Basically,
people, right?
that's why I
Yeah.
said. I mean, I see it more as a Godzilla or maybe Cloverfield.
Which is funny because I just watched Jaws for the first time as an adult, at least.
Nice.
Like a few weeks ago.
Right on.
And I wasn't entirely sure how much I think it holds up.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. It is very horror feeling. Just
Yeah.
watching the people around the beach, and that shark looks great. Like when it shows up on
yeah.
when it shows up on the
Yeah.
boat and is like chewing things, it still looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That holds up. And
Yeah.
it-
The
it- it's-
the CG for the Meg, because that's the name of the
it's
shark,
CG
right?
Yeah,
is the Meg.
it's the megalodon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the.
I don't know why that just clicked for me. Of course, it's the megalodon. Oh my god, so stupid. Jesus.
No, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a CGI fest. You know, I mean, these days, it's minor. You know,
Sure.
it isn't as jarring as it used to be.
No,
and
yeah.
You can
We've come a long way.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And like I said, it had a more disaster movie feel than.
Gotcha.
Than an actual Jaws. So like I said, popcorn movie. I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, that's
I
interesting. I
enjoyed
like that there's a distinction there. It's not necessarily a monster film.
Yeah.
It's a disaster film.
More or less. And then, like I said, and to the original writer of Jaws, you know, he was actually very disappointed that the movie, you know, struck such fear in everybody's hearts about sharks.
about
So
sharks.
when he wrote the Meg, he kind of wanted to even that out.
Okay.
You know, so like I said, so it wasn't so much about the shark just chomping away. It was
Sure.
other thing, more to it.
One of our other producers here at Color Circuit is a film critic, and he gave it a B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I was quasi interested. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
definitely,
I think check out his blog, which is not a word I get to say
Sandia
often
Journal?
anymore. I think it's called Sandia Journal, Sandia Films, something like that.
I think it's
Sandia
Sandia
Film Journal. There you go.
Aha.
We met in the middle.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
Mr. Hector. I don't know his last name. I should.
Mr. Hector.
Mr. Hector.
I like that.
Nobody knows his name? Salvato,
name?
maybe?
Something like that.
Sure.
He's gonna be
sure.
like,
you fuckers. Yeah.
He's gonna
I
be
know.
like, I've told you guys 1,000 times.
Let's go over mine. Disenchantment. You watched the first episode.
I did.
I'm halfway through it. Again, no spoilers here. It is again, it's a show by Mike Groening. You kind of know what to expect. It very much has a Futurama / Simpsons feel.
Yeah.
More in my head, I'm thinking like more modern Simpsons, but honestly, the animation style isn't too far removed on Futurama and Simpsons. There's even theories out there right now that Futurama and Disenchantment are in the same universe, which is actually
Nice.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
I love those,
Yeah.
those
That is
fan
fun.
theories.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a show about a young woman who is a princess, and she's the exact opposite of what you expect a princess to
Yeah.
be. She's more like Homer Simpson than she is Lisa
Because
Simpson.
she's Abby Jacobson.
It's Abby Jacobson.
Yeah.
We all
Love
know her
her.
from
Broad City.
She is hysterical. It's Eric Andre from the Eric Andre Show as the demon,
okay, yeah.
and I love the way they animate this little demon. It's just this little 2D, like he's always standing like this, kind of like a bad artist would do.
Yeah.
But I think that was very
Purposeful.
purposefully
Yeah.
done. And then it's this other Bart-looking character. Honestly, he's a gnome. What is he? He's a troll.
yeah.
And I actually don't remember who plays him.
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
He's not. No. Now I forget his name. DiMaggio, but I think he's the king. John DiMaggio. He does the voice of Bender.
Oh yes.
And-
Oh, that's that. Okay, yeah, I can actually hear that.
He's the king though, but I don't know.
Yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah, let's find out who this last character is. Nat Faxon. I
Oh,
believe.
Nate Faxon. Okay.
What did he do? What has he done?
He's kind of he's a funny guy. He's kind of like almost like a character actor.
Okay.
He does a lot of supporting stuff.
Gotcha. Anyways, yes. So, this show we just talked about, it has a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it should be in the low 80s.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is okay. That now, like I said, I hadn't really watched it beyond. It kind of does it start sort of picking up?
Yes. I mean,
Like,
to be honest with you, yeah. And I know a lot of people. Everybody I'm hearing it from is like, you know what? I want to give it a chance. So I'm watching a couple more, and they're still not hitting it from. I get it. I'm not entirely okay. So I say I get it, but maybe I don't. I'm not entirely sure what people are expecting. So, a couple of things to say about this. First off, it is so difficult when a band releases a new album to not compare it to the last album.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening here.
Okay.
Yep.
They're expecting a Futuron and Simpsons right at the gate, which are like national treasures.
Sure.
I mean, international. Like these things are some of the baseline for animation.
Especially The Simpsons. Yeah.
Especially
and they've had
The
like
Simpsons.
a million seasons too. So.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and they had a lot of seasons to perfect it.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, right out the gate, this show does a very good job of establishing what it is, the character archetypes, and also like subverting some character archetypes too, right?
Yeah,
like the princess is
so-
not a regular
yeah,
princess.
yeah.
This little troll character is like kind of annoying, but it's kind of fun watching
yeah.
him be like so insecure with himself. But then and it's the best parts of the show, I think, even though that character annoys me more so than all the rest of them. The best parts of the show is when that insecurity flips on his head and all of a sudden he gets defensive, or like there's one there's it's so tiny too. Like there's one where he's getting tickled because he's an adorable little troll, and he's like, "Come on, stop it, fucking stop it!" Like he just starts. It's so pissed. Like it's so funny to watch these like really quick changes and
like I said, I hope they kind of find their footing maybe. And like I said, the first, at least especially the first season of Simpsons was very different than even by the third or fourth season, they were finally like cooking.
Sure. Yeah, here's the other thing too, like not everything could be
well, yeah, not everything can be The Simpsons. Not everything can be the Futurama, even with the same.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm getting at here is that I'm not sure if people are like paying attention to story more so, and even then, like the story's like it's decent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best,
right.
but honestly, I'm looking at it for the humor, and I think the humor is pretty well done. I also like darker humor.
Sure.
It's also more violent, way more violent than Futurama and The Simpsons. There's plenty of blood, and I think also like their rate per minute for jokes is pretty high, and so they're able to hit a lot of different types of humor that would affect a lot of different people.
Right.
Like I'm liking some of the darker or weird twisted stuff more so,
right.
And then there's things that are a little bit more light, again, I think the humor is there. And if that's something that's why people aren't liking it as much, or if it's story, or actually, what is it that
actually,
they're looking at?
I just had a thought, just kind of, and I think I'm gonna have to like watch the rest of it. But one thing I will say about The Simpsons and Futurama, there is a lot of heart.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm wondering if are we getting that much heart in this?
I think, that's a good question. Actually, is if it's coming from anywhere, it's probably largely coming from the main character. Although the troll is immediately he has a crush on the main character, and so there's some heart there in some future episodes. And I'm only halfway through it too, so I do wonder where it lands on that. But you're right. Right out the gate, though, the first 5 episodes, I'm not thinking that it has a ton of that.
Okay.
And so that could be could be part of it.
Maybe.
Sure.
I guess
Yeah.
it's just something I kind of just touched or just thought about now. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like. When you see Hart in The Simpsons, like I'm thinking like Lisa,
any Lisa episode.
They're always very
any
good.
episode where Homer's dealing with the kids or something. There's always something.
Yeah.
I think like I'm gonna watch it just because I love Abby Jacobson so much, and I do think that she has so much heart in Broad City. I mean, that show's like pure.
Right.
The show's great. It's so good. It's one of the best comedies on television.
It's so good, and it's actually really sweet. It's actually a really sweet show if you think about like their friendship and stuff. It's really great. But I think I'm gonna give it a shot, even though it got a low Rotten Tomato score. That's fine.
Do you think that's gonna affect? Do you think they're gonna bring it back?
My guess is they're going to bring it back. It's Matt Groening.
Yeah.
who's gonna say no to Matt Groening?
Sure.
Right? Like what? Well, like how crazy do you have? How crazy do you have to be at at any production company to say now? You created the longest running animated show of all time. How are we gonna say
your
now?
first shot of the gate? Get out of here. You know? Yeah. No, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
He said that he did an interview on NPR. I'm always listening to NPR, by the way, and it has really good interviews. And he was doing an interview, and he was saying that like him doing this show has like given him a good way to like have an excuse to take breaks from like doing all this work all the time, because he'll just tell the people at The Simpsons that he's doing Disenchantment, and then he'll tell people at Disenchantment that he's doing The Simpsons, and then he'll just go do whatever he wants to do. And I thought that was really fun.
Like, guy works hard. I mean, who works hard?
He's like, I need a friggin' break sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, sure.
Like, and people think that like he's had all these years off, but like really, I mean, he's still been doing The Simpsons.
He's always been behind the scenes.
I'm also excited to see him work more with these comedy actors.
Yeah.
Abby Jacobson, Eric Andre, they're comedians, and then he's mixing them in with some voice actors or people that more primarily study voice. But yeah, I'd like to see him expand off this. And like, what else? Like, what if he did like a sci-fi futuristic thing? I don't know. Yeah. It could be fun stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, he already did that.
I just wonder, of course, but I wonder too if they do continue, if we're gonna have little cameos. Not so much Bart, but maybe Nancy Cartwright, who voices Bart.
Right.
Dan Castellaneta does Homer. You know, what if
doesn't she voice Bart and Lisa?
No. Lisa is Yardley Smith.
Okay.
No, I can't remember. Apparently, Nancy, and she does. I think she does Nelson too.
Okay.
I believe Lisa Yardley Smith. She's the only character
with one
that Lisa's her only character.
So yeah, that's my final stamp on it. Is I give it a watch. Honestly, I'm having a good time. It's also a good break for like we're watching The Sinner.
Oh,
we're
watching all these intense shows.
We're watching heavy, intense shows.
I just got done watching Sharp Objects. That was super intense.
Nice.
And so it's a good break, you know. And it's only 10 episodes.
That's cool.
We all need a little lighthearted stuff every now and then.
I'm gonna keep watching, but like I was like, oh, okay, you know, I had to hit the wall a little bit.
Speaking of heavy stuff, let's move on to our Donnie Darko review.
Yeah.
You chose this, Stan. Why did you choose this?
Well, I'm going along with the whole required viewing. You know, I think Donnie Darko is one of those ones. If you haven't seen it, I think you should watch it.
Okay.
For better or worse. That's kind of, and that's you know, then we get to talk about that part.
Yes.
You know, that's great.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So maybe we could do like a quick overview, like a quick synopsis.
Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually set in the 80s. And it revolves around the titular character Donnie Darko, and it's you know he's just a suburban kid, and then he just kind of starts seeing things. I mean, that's kind of the basis, but maybe
that's what we suspect.
It kind of seems like he's like maybe schizophrenic or something. But we're not quite sure.
And it really kind of toes the line, and you know, it's really one of those rabbit hole movies. Once you get going, you know.
I see what you did.
Right. Wink, wink. Anyway. Lost my train of thought.
That's the scariest rabbit, by the way, that I've ever seen.
Yes.
It reminds me of those Easter Bunny pictures from like the 20s and 30s when like the costumes were horrifying.
Right.
Like, all those old black and white photos. Yeah.
So scary.
Paper mache.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it delves into this real kind of sci-fi territory. We're talking about. I mean, seriously, we're talking about time portals and time shift, and we're talking about changing history, things like that, and it's all you know, and but then you know he's just trying to live his teenage life, you know, and there's all these things happening, and you know he's having these visions and
falls in love with this girl.
You know, and
it's a sci-fi movie.
It's got a real sci-fi coming of age, you know, feel to it.
Okay, so can you explain the ending to me real fast, starting at him at the party with his girlfriend?
So so we're Darko. We never really get, you know, he starts seeing the future basically, and in that sense, it revolves around an accident that happens. Actually, a jet engine lands smack dab in the middle of his house, and just kind of destroys everything. So you know, when he has that vision to begin with, and then it's slowly creeping up on him, and he's starting to see like time shifts and time wormholes and things like that. And there's an old woman that knows she's obviously crazy, but she knows something about it, you know, and it just kind of deeper and deeper down the well. You know? So at the end of our movie, he's kind of come to the point where this is the point where things are going to go one way or the other.
Okay.
And everything, and the things that he didn't know are starting to come together, and basically it sort of my interpretation of it was like he had a choice to make.
Okay.
With all of these visions and all of these things that he's able to, oh no, he's the only one able to see him. So that's where we get the, you know, maybe he's crazy, maybe he's not, because he goes to therapy, and he's actually pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, aside from these things that he's seeing, is just adding to
he
what's
has this
going
like
on
multiple personalities where he like
He's
talks
very-
to himself, and he talks to that rabbit.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor.
Oh yeah,
He's so great.
Jake Gyllenhaal's
Yeah.
is definitely. I think this pretty much put him on the map, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I ask you questions about this movie?
Yes.
First off, the bunny character person, the first time we
Frank.
see him,
He has a name, Frank.
Frank, yes. So we, that sounded defensive, Stan.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
I'm just kidding.
Like that.
He has a name.
It's Frank.
I'm just
Stop
kidding.
dehumanizing him.
So Frank, we hear him a couple times.
Yes.
And then we see him a couple times.
Yes.
And we see him once in the movie theater. This shot, or this scene right here, actually, and he's missing an eye, which is foreshadowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the first time we actually see him, he's just this guy in a car. He accidentally runs over his girlfriend. I know it sounds crazy that he could accidentally do that, but he didn't see her. Runs her over, and then the next time we see him is after Donnie Darko makes the decision to kill himself, and that will reverse time somehow, which is another question.
It was,
but then we see Frank.
Yes.
Then we see Frank in a bedroom with drawings of the bunny and the mask, and then him sitting on a bed, and that's all we see of Frank. But it's clearly a very important part of this film. What do we know about this guy, and why is he important?
Frank's part of his visions. He's sort of the harbinger, and I think in the sense because
harbinger.
We find when we see Frank without the mask and he's missing an eye. Well, we eventually find out how he misses that eye, and Donnie shoots him.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason that he's seeing him specifically, because that's a death that he's responsible for.
Right.
Even though in the sense that I think he's sort of feels like he's responsible for all these deaths.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He feels like he's the center of it all, so he has to do something about it.
Yeah, and that's kind of his struggle.
Yeah, I also think that like the rabbit sort of represents time. If you think about like the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
Sure, that's a good point.
So I think like that's kind of part of it too, because in this he really represents time also.
Is the rabbit a time traveler? Is Frank a time traveler?
Here's the thing. I think this is part of the charm of Donnie Darko. Watching Donnie Darko is, it leaves so many questions, and you're really kind of left to your own devices to interpret or figure things out. It's one of the things I like about Donnie Darko.
Me too.
Yeah. Now, now Donnie Darko, the theatrical release is what,
which is the one we watched on Netflix, right?
Yes, that's the one everyone knows. The original Donnie Darko
director's cut.
The director's cut, really. See what the real difference between those two is that the director's cut actually kind of nails down specifically what's going on.
Okay.
And
so it's more direct.
It's very direct. You're getting, because there's what happens is he finds this book written by the crazy woman, and in the director's cut we start seeing actual like excerpts of the book. And they're kind of not an explanation, but sort of maybe like a caption or so of everything that's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I watched
in the
before.
sense that if that's the first Donnie Darko you see is the director's cut, you're gonna get everything.
God, it's all laid out.
You kind of don't get the the mystery and the the complexity of it on its own, because it's spelled out for you basically.
I have a question. How does Donnie Darko travel back through time?
I think he figures out how to go through a wormhole. Am I wrong?
Well, he starts when there's a scene where everybody's like they're walking, but they got these giant like liquid looking worm things, but it's
that's where they're going to go,
instead
right?
of following them, it's kind of where they're going, and so he figures out that's the power or the whatever the gift or the travel.
Okay.
He figures out how to use those basically.
Okay.
And like I said, the old woman is a part of that. The old
Her
the book
that she
wrote, that she went crazy.
Yeah.
And kind of explain. And that's why I said, like, when you get excerpts from that book, and it does sort of explain.
Gotcha.
Because the other thing is there's other characters involved.
Okay.
And that's why we see Patrick Swayze shows up in a very sort of
Oh yeah, his
dark,
character's so gross.
And so his character, and then there's the girl character that shut up, she kept getting bullied.
Yeah, I wanted to hear more about her.
See, okay, well that's the director's cut, because it turns out they all play a part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had a feeling. I was like,
Yeah.
I was under the impression that nobody in this movie was for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that we see, and that all of them put in the director's cut, all of them put together is a piece of this time travel.
So the what we watched was something that you needed to kind of piece together at the end on your own,
basically,
as a viewer. Okay.
Yeah, and I kind of almost enjoy that more.
It's
than
almost
being hit
more
over the head with it.
It's almost more confusing than like Inception, and Inception's a hard movie to put wrap your head around.
It's not really that confusing. But for me, but only because I watched it a million times.
Right.
So I think I figured it out.
I still don't understand the practical way, like physically, what did he do to travel through time? I don't know.
He was in a loop.
Yeah, he figured out how to travel through a wormhole.
How? What did
through that because of that book.
What did he physically do to travel?
I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying.
It's like he learns about time is circular, and it's. He figured, so he saw the vision of what's happening, and he saw the countdown, right?
Yeah.
Or he's how many more days?
Yeah.
How many more hours?
Right.
So it's basically him trying to figure out what he needs to do, and for the loop to complete itself.
Okay.
So that's where and he's got a choice to make. So there's
so at the end of that countdown.
Well, the end of the countdown is basically what happens along the way. Because the shooting the guy, she ran him over, his girlfriend, all the bad things and then so he's either gonna complete that loop, or he's gonna do another loop that that kind of corrects everything.
Yeah.
So at the end of the loop, time was going to redo itself regardless, and then he had to make a decision.
Either what he's got or what he could do.
So what he did was go into his bedroom, die, and then all of the rest of these events wouldn't have unfolded.
All these rest of these bad events
affected
where
everything
people
else.
died,
Yeah.
his family
Right,
died.
butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Basically.
Gotcha.
See, like I said, that's the thing. That's I guess that's the difference between watching this version and the director's
the other version. Okay.
I would say if you like Donnie Darko, watch the director's cut. You'll get a lot. You'll get a lot more out of it.
I kind of want to.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a lot more out of it. And
I love this movie. It's so good.
It's a lot of people's top. Like maybe not their favorite, but a lot of people love this. It's a cult film.
Yeah, it's definitely
sure.
cult.
Yeah.
Definitely cult classic.
The music is so good. The soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks. It's
Oh
got
yeah,
a bunch
I
of Tears
agree.
for Fears
It's so
stuff.
good.
Oh my god,
It's a very good soundtrack. My favorite part of this movie was the acting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it had a stellar cast.
Yeah.
And they all killed it.
Yep.
Even freaking shut up girl who was barely in it.
Girl, yeah.
And it was also I was like, what the hell? What are they doing with this character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't end up really utilizing her
Sure.
at the end.
Even the little girl was really good. His little sister.
Little sister, but everybody was so good in this movie.
Everybody was good. His parents are good.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen shows up.
Before
he's really Seth Rogen.
Yeah. You know, I was a little bit unsure about the teacher. Who plays her?
Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
And then what's the
Noah Wiley?
Noah Wiley.
Yeah, and not that their acting was bad, but as far as what they did for the film,
right?
I like literally almost her only part in this was that it was the cellar door.
Mm-hmm.
It was like all of that leading up, and he had like kind of a relationship with her, but
right.
they didn't establish it super well.
Right.
And they were focusing a lot on her, and I didn't understand why. Like she got fired, and I'm like, what is?
Yeah.
Because she's Drew Barrymore and she's the best.
Yeah, but that's not a good reason. But that's not a good reason to put.
She's the queen of the 90s.
That's not a good reason to put somebody in a movie.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, right, like flesh your characters out if you're going to use them.
I get what you're saying.
You know.
Yeah.
So I didn't love all aspects of the film.
Sure.
And maybe it was the cut.
Like I said, I mean, it's one of those ones. Like I know. We've had discussions about it. You know, which one's actually better. And
sure.
It depends. You know, I guess if you get your questions answered and you like that, or you want to kind of
know everything,
keep it kind of figure it out for yourself. I think those are basically the two.
Right.
The two.
Yeah, I maybe would have liked to have been spoon fed more.
I would. Well, I would. If you watch the director's cut, and then if you can go back and watch Donnie Darko, I think that I think that'd probably be
mostly just so I feel like the characters would have been more a necessity as opposed to shoved in. But yes, I'm glad I rewatched it because I haven't watched it since I was like 16. Honestly, so it's been over a decade for me,
and it definitely changes. It's one of those ones. It does your viewing of it changes almost every time.
Very Stranger Things.
Definitely.
Or the other way around, obviously.
I love his relationship
his sister's
with
in
this.
Duh.
Maggie
Maggie's
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, she's great.
I love her, and
she's so
I
good.
love their relationship. And when she calls him what does she call him? A fuck ass or a fart ass or something?
No, he calls her that. I think.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're so funny.
The opening scene of that movie is one of my. It's of recent films I've seen is one of the better.
It's
so good.
Yeah. My brother, this I don't know if it still is his favorite movie, but it for a long time has been his favorite movie. And him and I really relate to that like relationship that they have because like
they're assholes.
because they're kind of like jerks to each other, but you can tell that they really care about each other. Yeah. And then they also like have parties like when their parents are gone and stuff.
Yeah.
And like
you guys did that.
We did that all the time, and like we would like agree about like okay who's gonna clean this part up and like who's gonna do this part.
They did right out the gate. They did such a good job of like establishing the family dynamic, and I loved that. I was smiling the whole intro scene, and the dad too, like just laughing about it.
Yeah.
And then the mom like trying to stop it, and then the girls all into politics, and that was so funny.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
Yeah, very
I
good.
honestly,
my favorite scene's the Tears for Fears montage.
Oh yeah,
the
high school.
Yeah,
the guy's smoking and the teacher sees him. He's like,
Oh my god.
I could watch that over and over. That's
Me
like
too.
Has this director gone on to do other things?
He's done. The other one he did was Southland Tales, another really interesting, weird, hard to pin down movie starring The Rock.
Ah, was it good?
Of course, I saw it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
You liked it. Yeah.
I liked it, but I mean, it's more. I don't want to say it's more of this because it's very different from this.
Okay.
But it's in that there's just so much going on. You're like, oh, whoa,
If anything, honestly, to get this to establish like Jake coming into like going into like Nightcrawler, that movie's fucking good.
Yeah.
The movie's so good.
Yeah.
And like Jake Gyllenhaal is just a master artist. I love him. Yeah. And then his mom, what's her name? She's in Battlestar Galactica. She's a G.
Great.
Not. I'm gonna say it's not Mary.
Yeah, I don't
not
remember
Steenburgen.
No.
Oh, here I'll find it.
I
out
forget
right
her
here.
name, but she's great. She's
McDonald.
Yep.
Okay.
I think her name's Mary McDonald.
She's wonderful.
That's Disenchanted.
Oh yeah. Sorry. All right. Anyways, yeah. She's really good too.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy with the cast and stuff. Okay, cool. Good pick.
Yeah.
Good pick. I think it's my turn.
Okay.
Cool.
To pick a film and or TV show.
Is it your turn or my turn?
What was the last one you chose? What was the last one I chose?
I chose Bedknobs and Broomsticks. What was the last
I
one
think
you
it's
chose?
you did the
Mary and the Witch's
Berry and the
Flower.
Witch's Flower.
Oh, so am I? And that was after Bedknobs?
Uh-huh.
I think
oh,
so.
Your turn.
I have quite a few that
Uh-oh.
are on my list here.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's look this little list up, guys.
Well, why don't we move on with the show?
Yep, and then I will give
we'll do it at the
you
end
some
of the show?
options at the end.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
we can talk about it.
Okay.
Cool.
So while Jessica's
no.
getting that set up, we have a game. We have a game here every week here at Color Sugar. Also, we haven't mentioned either our little Agritsuko's. This is a Netflix original. She's from the Sanrio clan. It is a show called Agritsuko, and it's about a red panda who during the day works like an office job that she hates, and she has to deal with misogyny in the workplace. And she, amongst other things, she basically hates her office job and aspects of her life. So to release that steam, that pressure, she goes off to karaoke bars, which
nice.
in Asian countries, it's like or at least in a lot of them, it's separate rooms. So
Yeah.
she rents her own karaoke room, and then she screams death metal.
Nice.
And it's so much fun. And this is her happy face, and this is her death metal face.
Yeah.
Her everyday, fake face is the other one. Anyways, it's really fun. It's such a good show.
Yeah.
You'll have a good time watching it. So that was my recommendation based off my plushies that I won this weekend at round 1. So every week we play a video game. We play a game. This week it is Last Dinosaur Movie Standing. Essentially what we're going to do is eliminate these one by one until the last dinosaur movie and best of all time is left standing. So there's 6 up here, and there's only 4 of us in this room, which means one of us is going to have to choose twice. And so let's have I feel you haven't gone like last in a while, have you? Yeah, so you'll go last, which means maybe you should even go first. First and last.
I'm going to
Dominic, think of yours. So what are you eliminating?
I didn't see We're Back.
Oh, you did not see We're Back?
I did not see it.
Okay.
And
yeah, wait, let's go through them real quick. We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. Ice Age, I think it's the 3rd one.
Okay.
King Kong.
Yes.
The reboot was Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson, King Kong, yeah.
Jurassic Park, Godzilla, and Land Before Time. I'd say like if like
is Godzilla is it the recent Godzilla?
I say as franchises if you want. Most of these are franchises except for We're Back, but
basically, yeah.
Yeah. So are you planning on eliminating We're Back? You're allowed to do that.
I think so because, like you said, I think that clinched it because that one doesn't have the franchise either.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
there you
Okay.
go.
Cool. I also think the lead in We're Back is who's the lead in We're Back? A Dinosaur Story.
I don't know.
Is it
someone that's like
who is in 10 Cloverfield Lane?
John Goodman.
Is it John Goodman? I have a feeling it's John Goodman. Our producer will look it up right now. But our producer is also going to eliminate the next movie. What are you getting rid of?
I would get rid of Ice Age.
He's getting rid of Ice Age. All right. Okay.
Because it's more about that squirrel than dinosaurs.
And honestly, the dinos I think are only in like the 2nd or 3rd movie or whatever.
Right.
But it's such a good franchise. I like Ice Age. Jessica, what are you going to eliminate next?
So what's left?
We got King Kong, Godzilla, Land Before Time, and Jurassic Park. That's an easy one.
King Kong, Godzilla, Land Before Time, and Jurassic Park.
Yes.
King Kong.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree.
King Kong.
I agree. Also, I should mention too, 2 of these are Spielberg films. 3
of them.
Land Before Time, We're Back, and Jurassic Park. If he wasn't directing, he was producing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty. He likes dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Is it John Goodman? Did I make that up? Yeah, it's John Goodman.
Nice.
Yeah, Jay Leno, Walter Cronkite, Julia Child, and Martin Short.
Yeah.
It's a good cast.
I just missed that one.
Yeah, you did miss it. It's oddly dark.
I'll check it out.
Oddly dark.
That's what I was going to eliminate if you did that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm going by that. That's because that's the only one.
Yeah. It's basically like he's not really supposed to be in the city, and he's like, I think he traveled through time. I can't remember. It's kind of it's weird.
Yeah, as a kid watching it, and I was like, even as a kid, I was like, cool dinosaurs.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have Jurassic Park and Land Before Time and Godzilla left. I'm going to eliminate A Land Before Time.
Okay.
So it is between Jurassic Park and Godzilla. Who is the king of the monsters? That was a loaded question.
I was going to say, well, okay, Godzilla is the king of the monsters.
Right, yes.
But here I was to do that. Godzilla's the king of the monsters, whereas Jurassic Park's is dinosaurs.
It's dinosaurs, yeah, like
So
rebooted, reanimated.
I'm gonna get rid of Godzilla.
Get rid of Godzilla.
Even though I love Godzilla, but I mean, I don't even know that I would put him in a category with dinosaurs.
Sure.
Honestly.
Okay. Yeah. I noticed a lot of your choises are based off technicalities.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
That's fine. That's fine.
You know, but I mean, okay, like the Godzilla has to fight King Kong or have to fight Rodan or Mothra, whereas you know T-Rex can fight a Triceratops.
Can
You know
we need to, at least for people that we know like the franchise of Godzilla, I want to get all of our friends to go to the theaters.
I'm down.
I want that to happen because
I'm down.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, God, like I said, Godzilla is near and dear to my heart. But,
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't categorize him as a dinosaur myself.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, he's a force of nature.
He's a force of nature. He's a destructor. The best last dinosaur movie standing is Jurassic Park.
I was the franchise, you know.
Yeah.
What else
What's
right
better?
now is gonna beat it?
Ooh,
You know.
It is
Jurassic
the
Park's
most.
so good.
I mean, actually, of the most real of those, it's probably Land Before Time.
Maybe, yeah, okay. I agree with that.
Because it's all takes place in that setting.
The prehistoric.
The most unrealistic being obviously that they can talk to each other,
Sure.
which I have doubts.
Who knows? Who knows?
That's like a dog talking
Who
to
was
a
there?
monkey, you know, or something less drastic.
Yeah.
But okay, so now one of my favorite parts of this game is what would you have chosen as the last dinosaur movie standing, Stan?
Me personally, it would have come down to between either Land Before Time or Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
I think for me Jurassic Park edges it out just in the fact that dinosaurs don't talk
Sure.
and they're being dinosaurs.
Sure.
But I love Land Before Time too, even though I've never seen any of the sequels.
You don't need to. I
Good.
don't think.
That's what I heard.
That's a solemn movie too. Jesus
God, I
Christ,
know, right?
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cried so much. We just watched it recently, and I was like,
Not only that, it's
I was
also
like, oh, it's gonna be a little kid movie. I'm like crying
Yeah.
my eyes out over
it's
here.
also filmed very like dark.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, like it's the
God.
end of the world. It's the end of
I
the
love-
Jurassic period. or
Sure,
I
whatever.
don't even want to watch it again. I was so like traumatized.
I like when kids movies are heavy though.
Yeah.
What movie would you have ended up choosing in the end, Dominic?
Either between Land Before Time or King Kong, actually.
Okay.
Ah,
okay.
Okay.
I do like, especially in Peter Jackson's version, he emphasized that these are current dinosaurs, like like these are dinosaurs that have kept evolving
Right.
over the that they've been around.
It's a good
that
version
was a
of
good
King
that was a
Kong.
good idea.
I
yeah.
liked that
I
version.
want to rewatch. I want to watch it. I've never
liked
think I've
it.
ever seen it.
Have you ever seen this version?
Very good.
Uh,
It's got like Naomi Watts and Jack Black.
Main character's Jack Black,
there's like an epic 3.5 hour version that's actually not bad, but I mean
That sounds like something Peter Jackson would do.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
of course.
it's very
It's
Peter
a
Jackson-y.
spectacle and it's very entertaining.
It is fun. It
Did
is
you guys
fun.
hear about Topher Grace? Is that his name from That 70s Show?
Mhm.
Uh huh.
He did an edit of the original of the Hobbit films, and I think of Lord of the Rings, and I think of the prequel Star Wars films, and he condensed them all. These three franchises, he separately made them hour-and-a-half movies.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's really funny.
Isn't
That's
that
crazy.
Like, what are you
I need to
doing,
see- I
Topher
need to-
Grace?
I
Like,
need to watch that.
I
he's
gotta
just
watch
re-editing,
that,
re-editing trilogies.
Yeah, I need
It's
to
kind
watch
of
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, also because it's so unexpected.
Right.
So yours would have been one of the two.
Yeah, it's both. I think it's both because they both have like human, like in Land Before Time they talk to, and I think King Kong is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
He's very humanized. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Joss, what would you have chosen?
Probably between Land Before Time and Jurassic Park.
Wow, Land Before Time lands on everybody's list.
It's so, it's so sweet,
and-
and
and-
I
Ducky,
just grew up with it.
I can't. Yeah. I mean, most people that saw it when they were little.
Right.
So, and that's one that sticks with you no matter what.
It's very nostalgic.
Yep. The kid actor was killed by her
Yeah,
dad.
I heard about that.
Holy shit!
Oh
Yeah,
my
are we picking him up?
No.
Oh
no.
Do we want to?
Yes.
Our producer was just telling us that the voice actress was a little girl that played Ducky was murdered by her father.
Crazy.
That's
Oh,
just
crazy.
That's
I
so
don't know.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, that is
just
very
to make
heartbreaking.
things worse.
But yeah, as
you
if
know?
that movie wasn't already heart-wrenching.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's harder, but also like when I text, instead of saying like okay or just K, I put
Yep.
Aw.
I say it out.
You
Yeah.
are Ducky.
Yeah.
You're the Ducky of college.
Yep.
You have a new nickname. You
I
have
say
a
it all the
fourth
time.
one.
I say yep all the time. That's probably where it comes from.
Yep.
I never thought about it.
So, Jess, which one you have chosen?
Oh, don't make me. Okay,
I won't.
fine. I would have chosen Jurassic Park
Yeah.
because I love Jurassic. I love the original Jurassic Park. The
Yeah,
first
me
one.
too.
Oh my god, it's one of my favorite
couldn't
movies
wait.
like of all time.
I'm gonna be the only one to not choose Land Before Time in my final two. It's Godzilla or Jurassic Park.
Cool.
Okay.
Godzilla is
Sure.
just the most
'Cause he's
badass,
badass, yeah.
fucking omniscient,
Gnarly
awesome,
dinosaur?
so like coolest written, best history behind. I love it, and there's a billion movies, so you can like if you don't like that first series, you can go to one of the 50 other series.
Sure.
Right.
I haven't even seen Shin Godzilla. I'm a
Oh, it's
bad
great.
person. I
That's
want to
awesome.
watch it.
No, it's
I want
really
to.
good.
Just want to watch them all. So I have
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a month of movies ahead of me.
Have you done like the whole? Have you done like Final Wars and the all of the?
No,
oh
I
my
kind of missed
God.
the middle stuff. I watched
Yeah.
all the original stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I watched the American reboot, the one from like 2000.
Yeah.
You remember that one? Who did
Was it
that?
was it Matthew Broderick, that one?
I
Or you
think
talking
so.
That
about
was
one?
kind of bad, yeah, but
Yeah, people didn't, and it was like a different type of Godzilla
That was
too.
that was the
Who did that?
Independence Day guys. Dean Devlin, I think.
Okay, because I was gonna
Roland
say
Emmerich.
it feels Michael Bay-ish.
Well, that's their thing. That's
Yeah.
they're like the French Michael Bay.
French
so.
Michael Bay.
yeah,
okay.
that makes sense. Okay.
I don't know. I watched it and I liked it because it was Godzilla. I didn't care.
Yeah. I know. I watched it when I was a kid.
Yeah, me
but
too.
ultimately, it's Jurassic Park for me.
Sure.
So not all of the time does it land at the three of us choosing.
I would say, well, I would
Jurassic
say
Park.
Jurassic Park as a franchise, definitely.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't,
Oh my
I can't
God,
think of anybody
so
else. That
And
could
just
top
that
good.
film too, like it also like it changed like practical
And the first one-
effects.
the first one
and
holds up
It's
still.
it's still
Still,
holds up.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
still so
the
good.
water moving
Yeah.
in the glass. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so good.
And it's like I don't know. It's not the breakout role, but maybe it's what made him famous.
Goldblum?
Goldblum. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
No.
I
think
mean,
I think
it's
that,
not what
that
made
I
him
think
famous,
that's
but it's-
that's like I think that's just added to it.
Is it
'Cause he
his-
was already the Fly, man. You
Yep.
can't, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
Yeah.
yes, but okay. So most iconic,
Maybe.
because people don't think of the Fly when they
Yeah.
think
No,
Goldblum.
no.
They
Maybe,
think about
yeah, I
him
agree
as
with
the
that.
Doctor.
Maybe it's more iconic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Oh my God, she's the greatest.
Who's the director?
Which one?
You can. Yeah. No worries. No worries.
Of Godzilla?
No, it's not Godzilla 2000. Yeah, I can't.
Oh,
It
those
might have
ones.
been before the year 2000.
I think it was like in '98.
Yeah, it sounds
something
about
like that.
right. Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure it was
99. It's that
Dean
one.
Devlin,
below it.
Roland Emmerich.
And the original Jurassic Park
No,
was
no,
was
no.
that a Spielberg movie?
The original Jurassic Park was
Yes.
he directed it. It
Yes.
was based on Michael Crichton's book.
Yeah, it's a Crichton book.
It's
They need to keep
phenomenal.
making Crichton stuff.
God,
honestly.
so good.
I love Crichton stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are. That is actually the show. That's our home run. If you want to go to that next slide,
Oh, yeah.
it's just a little sneak peek of the fact that we are going to be doing trailer
Right.
Yeah.
I need
reactions.
to tell you what you're
And
gonna
our-
what your options are
what's
for
the
our
next?
Let's go ahead and do that.
required
Yeah.
viewing. So I just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of a couple things that I was like kind of thinking of. Have you guys ever seen The Talented Mr. Ripley?
Oh yeah.
I have not.
Have you seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E.? I think we talked about that.
The
New one?
Yeah. Yes.
You have seen it?
Is that is it an Asian film? No.
No.
And then the other one was Lady in the Water.
I haven't seen any of those.
That's a
Oh, that's the M. Night
Shyamalan
Shyamalan.
one.
That's a Shyamalan
Yeah.
movie.
No, I've seen all those.
He's seen all of them, but he won't be here next week.
Yeah,
Oh.
actually, I probably won't be here next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get
which
to
one?
choose.
Which of those have you seen them all?
I've seen them all, but I love them all, and I just thought. they're
Okay,
all
so
pretty good.
I'm sorry. Say them one more time.
So there's The Talented Mr. Ripley. There's Lady in the Water, and there's Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. Man from U.N.C.L.'s a newer.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the newest.
Yeah.
Newest.
and then Lady in the Water, and then.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So for you two that have seen it, which one of them is more of a required viewing? You should watch this movie. Is it Talented Mr. Ripley?
Or Lady in the Water.
I want to say, I actually out of those three, I think
they're all very different.
I think they're so different.
Talented Mr. Ripley is like a thriller kind of.
It's just it's What's Your Poison? Yeah, there's a there's a thriller.
Man from Uncle's like a
Man from Uncle's like an action,
sort of Bond type
it's
movie.
Bondy because it's in the '60s, I think.
Yeah,
it's a period. So I don't know. I don't know.
But it's the '60s.
But
it's
like 60. Yeah, it's like
and it's action.
And it's all it's very international.
It's the Victorian.
Oh, okay. The Man from Uncle is Guy Ritchie, I believe.
Yep, it's a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah.
I do like me some Guy Ritchie.
There's
Lady in the Water is M. Night
Shyamalan,
Shyamalan, which you could kind of go either way on, but it's got Paul Giamatti, who I'm just obsessed with.
Yeah, he's great. And Bryce Dallas Howard is pretty good in that.
Yeah, and she's in it too.
Too much, but
Talented Mr. Who's in Talented Mr. Ripley?
That's
Matt Damon and
Jude Law.
Who's
and our favorite guy that died
Philip
recently,
Philip
Seymour Hoffman.
Who's in Man from Uncle?
It's Henry
Superman.
Cavill, Superman.
Army Hammer.
Army Hammer.
It's basically the Man from Uncle is basically those two fighting the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're all
Alicia Vikander. I forget who the other girl. The other girl's I think she's the one that's in.
It's a powerhouse cast.
Yeah, no, it's a good cast.
Yeah. They're all really good. I mean, I don't really care because either way, I'll just.
It's just like I think it's what's your poison? You know,
yeah.
you thriller, the kind of action 70, spy thriller, or spy, or the fantasy.
I feel like
fairy
the
tale.
thriller is probably gonna hit harder.
Okay.
For at least for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like you're either gonna like Man from Uncle or the other one.
Talented Mr. Ripley.
Let's do Talented Mr. Ripley. That's
Okay.
the thriller one, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry that took so long.
No, it's okay.
That's the Godzilla movie. Yes.
It's a difficult choice.
It is directed and co-written by Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich. Yeah. Okay. And then his partner's Dean Devlin. So
okay.
the Independence Day.
Widely known for his disaster films.
I think The Day After Tomorrow. Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, disaster movies. That's a good.
Gotcha. 10,000
2012.
BC.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
The old one and the new one.
Interesting. Resurgence.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will watch The Talented Mr. Ripley and I'll get back to you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you and happily.
Sweet.
That movie.
Okay, cool. So, yes, trailers. We're moving that over to... Here's the camera. We're going to be pre-recording those, and then we're going to be uploading them on Fridays. So, if there was any chat, I missed it. I don't think there was. No. But anyways, yes, again, every week, tune in. Thursday, 7 p.m., youtube.com/color circuit right here. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, follow. All of the verbs we saw. We're live every day on Twitch with more film talk, but mostly video games, board games, role-playing games, and comedy. It's a lot of fun stuff. We just launched our Patreon recently. That is patreon.com/colorcircuitlive. Find us on Instagram at color.circuit.live. Stanley is your name.
My name is Stanley.
Jessica is your name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and my name is Dylan.
Uh-huh. You can find me on Instagram at Hippie Amber Vintage.
Yeah.
Spelled Hippie.
Yes.
Instead of Hippy.
Do you have like a Twitter? Do you have a handle? You're not
not
big social media?
Twitter. I have a kind of a FB, so Facebook, but
okay.
It's not really.
Yeah. We got it.
Actually, I am actually kind of working on some things. Working on a short. I'm working on a couple, web-ish type.
Okay.
Things.
Sure.
When those get.
So we got to look out for those.
When those get going, I'll definitely be plugging those.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Sweet.
Cool. That was.
I'm actually part of a Native American acting ensemble.
Oh.
And we're gonna have our first we're gonna start getting together pretty soon.
What?
It's actually gonna start. We're just now getting together.
That is so cool. I did not know that.
So hopefully, we might have a show coming up. Hopefully.
Congrats. Very cool. Yeah. I hope it works out. We will see you over there on the YouTubes. Bye-bye.